right, David, we got Abram Smith here.
All right, we'll use the raise hand function if you'd like to ask questions. First question for Abram comes from John Werner with the Waco Tribune-Herald.
Abram, how'd you feel like the defense played tonight? They had a lot of trouble scoring. Did you feel like y'all played at a pretty good level?
I felt like we played pretty good. I mean, for the most part, we kind of held them to a lot of 3-and-outs. I mean, know from the jump, whenever we watch film on them, you just kind of watch them. They're big in the first half or first quarter, and I feel like as a defense, we kind of just gave it our all, put our heart out there, and kind of just slowed it down.
Looked like he had a decent shot at an interception there toward the end. Did you see the ball very well, or was it real quick?
Be honest, it was kind of real quick, but I did see the ball. Just more like got to make those plays. Kind of just hit me in my hands.
Thank you.
Next question from Kevin Longquist. Kevin, you're still muted.
Sorry about that. Abram, what did you guys feel like you did against Rattler tonight that really kind of frustrated him? There were a couple of times when possessions ended for him where he was, slamming the football down on the field. What was the key tonight to kind of get him off balance and get their offense off balance tonight?
Like the most part, I think we did a pretty good job with slowing down the run game and then applying pressure off the edge. So that way he had to get the ball off really fast.
Okay. Thank you.
Next question from David Smoke with Sikkim 365.
Abram, thanks for your time tonight. The defense obviously played just incredible, pretty much start to finish. Do you feel like you deserve better? And what is it like when you're playing that well and the offense can't produce much? Do you get down? How do you keep going play to play?
I think for the most part, we're all a team, so we got to have their back at the end of the day. So we give our all for them, and then we expect it from the offense as well. And then there's times where, if they can't make the play or they can't do something, we got to go back out there as a defense and, have their back.
Any additional questions for Abram? Please use the raise hand function. All right, that's all we have for Abram. Abram, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank y'all.
All right, David, we got Charlie Brewer here.
All right, if you'd like to ask a question of Charlie, please use the raise hand function. First question for Charlie comes from John Werner with the Waco Tribune Herald.
Charlie, you had a lot of burden on you tonight. Couldn't really get the ground game going. How tough was that to kind of carry all that?
I mean, I got to do a better job in general. I'm not going to sit here and make an excuse on this or that or that. I touch the ball every play, so, I got to make something happen. If we can't run the ball, then, I got to, somehow make something happen in the passing game.
Thank you.
Next question from Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider.
Charlie, looked like the offensive line was having to rotate some different guys in there. I don't know if that was injuries or just trying to rotate guys in, but for the most part, it looked like they gave you pretty good protection, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Thought the offensive line played really well. Proud of, certain guys that stepped in, like John Carlo and some of the other guys.
That last drive there, 96 yards, 17 plays. Obviously, Jonah kind of got it kick-started, but, how big was that for you guys? I know, they had a pretty big lead, but to go down the field like that.
Yeah, I think we just, didn't want to quit. I don't think that's who we are, so, we weren't just going to fold over and just not go try. So, I think, Jonah, obviously, they were basically playing a prevent defense. So the check down was there. So, he did a really good job of making something happen.
Next question from David Smoke with Sikkim 365.
Charlie, a couple of things. One, you had to throw 56 passes. I know a lot came when you were, basically just trying to nickel and dime down the field. Do you ever feel like that's your style, to throw the ball that many times in a game?
I don't know. I'm not real sure. Not sure if I can give you a good answer on that. I think just whatever is, asked of me, I need to do at a high level. So tonight, it was, mainly just passing. So, me and the receivers, need to make something happen, especially me.
Were there times when you had somebody in the backfield? I know that you guys see each other quite a bit, but there were times in the backfield. Did you even know who was basically at running back tonight?
Yeah, a lot of different guys back there. I thought all of them, did a really good job of, coming in when their number was called and, making something happen.
Next question from Andrew Miner with Bears Illustrated.
Hey, Charlie, are you able to describe kind of what happened to the aftermath of the first interception when you helped make the tackle along the sideline? There looked to be a little bit of a scrum. I was just kind of curious what was going on there.
Pushed the guy out of bounds, and I thought he was in bounds, but I guess obviously they thought he may have been out of bounds and just caused a little bit of a scuffle.
Okay, thank you.
Next question from Kevin Lonnquist with SikimSports.com.
Charlie, when you're working with so many new faces in there, like Tyler Henderson and Jonah, guys who may not have gotten a lot of snaps during the course of the week, what does that do for you in terms of just trying to work them into a game plan and into a game flow? Is it a different kind of challenge, or is it something that is not a big deal for you?
I think, I think all those guys did a really good job of stepping in. It's my job to distribute the ball to, whoever's in there, and those guys did a great job.
When you knew that you weren't going to have Lovett and Quaylen Jones tonight, how did that change the attack for you guys? What you wanted to do running the football tonight, or did you guys know that well enough in advance that you already knew what you already do before you walked into the stadium tonight?
I'm not real sure of, hard to answer that. I just think that, I was asked to throw the ball a lot of times tonight, and, probably didn't do good enough job.
All right, thank you.
Next question from David Smoke with Sigma 365.
Charlie, there's a game left with Oklahoma State. I know you just finished one, but how much of a grind has this been on someone like you that's, I know, went through 1-11, but all you've ever really experienced in your life is winning?
I think it's, probably not, ideal. You want to win. You hate losing more than you love winning. So, I don't know. I think, I don't know. It's we just didn't play well enough tonight, and like I said, that starts with me.
All right, that's all the questions for Charlie. Charlie, thank you for your time.
All right, we got Coach Aranda here.
All right, if you'd like to ask a question of Coach Aranda, please use the raise hand function. The first question for Coach Aranda comes from John Warner with the Waco Tribune Herald.
Dave, how difficult was it to play tonight with so many running backs down, and how much pressure did that put on Charlie?
It put some pressure on him. I thought, it's next man up, and so when we would lose a running back, the biggest factor there is going to be protection, and so it's the deeper we got into that position group, the more just true empty sets that we would get to try to simplify kind of who's coming and who's not coming for Charlie, and to take it off the running back's plate. But we were challenged with that position group for sure tonight.
What happened to Ebner during the game?
He's got a high ankle sprain, and so he's going to get it looked at a little bit further, but was not able to continue.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Next question from Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider.
Dave, the defense, I mean, it seems like they've done it all year, but they, hold Oklahoma to 269 yards. They didn't score a touchdown until like a minute left in that first half. How big was that? And was there a specific plan on trying to contain both the running game and kind of keep Rattler on his heels?
Yeah, I think, running game wise, the counter and the stretch play show up. And so, Oklahoma is kind of notorious for running the counter and various ways of doing it. But we want a really heavy 5 techniques that can squeeze down on tackles and allow a linebacker to scrape over the top. But also, as we squeeze down on the tackle, spill the pullers that are coming, or spill the first puller anyways. And so we were able to accomplish that for the most part. When we're aligned that tight, the run and stretch, we're going to get reached, but we want to get knocked back. So we allow linebackers to overflow. We allowed one stretch to kind of hit us there in the second half. But outside of that, I thought we did a lot of positive things. Now, once you stop the run, which most folks struggle to do that versus this team, but once you do that, then it creates predictable throwing downs, and so then we can call our creepers and our simulated pressures and affect the quarterback.
That one where Christian Morgan had his sack, that looked like a house blitz? I mean, is that something y'all have kind of worked in as the season goes along? Because, I mean, he got one late that was called back for the penalty. Yeah, so we've had that at various times, and that's kind of been a gotta have it type of blitz, and it hasn't been as effective as it was tonight. I think it was smart on Ron's part to have it as part of a plan, because our zone coverages that we were playing initially will look like it. And so we can hold that off until the safeties come up late. We felt we could have a beat on their cadence, and we were able to, 2 times.
Next question from David Smoke with Sigum 365.
Coach, the way you played defensively, I mean, you guys were everywhere, fearless, attacking. Are you starting to see much more of the way you want to play defense? And if so, what's the difference now than perhaps even 3 or 4 weeks ago?
I think the guys played the same no matter what the score. And I think there's a time earlier in the year where, hey, what is the other side of the ball doing? Hey, what's the score? What's the situation? And I think this is the first game where it's just put the ball down, man, right? Put the ball down, let's play. And I'm proud of that. Just being in the locker room and hearing some of the talk, I mean, that's what you're hearing. And so I feel like that's gotten through. That's going to give us a chance in every game.
If you don't mind, why can't you run the ball? Is it just bodies? Is it the lack of spreading the defense? Why can't you run the football? Or is that something you need to watch the film from today?
No, I mean, there was, we had a lot of stretch plays called where we're cracking on the outside and getting the ball up on the perimeter, and we would miss cracks. I think there's one in particular I'm looking where we're going to crack, and then there's a linebacker scraping over the top, and we come off the crack and take the linebacker, and there is no crack now, and we make a play. And so we did not execute very well on the perimeter, and that's really disappointing. That was a major part of the plan. And then I think front-wise, we allowed too much penetration. So whether it's on the edge with the 5 techniques crashing inside, or in the interior with the twists and the stunts that they run inside, we were not very clean. And I look at myself, and we have to rep that more and make a bigger emphasis of that. We did it quite a bit, but we have to do it more, because it's not acceptable, our inability to run the ball. And that was a big part of the attack today, and we couldn't get it going.
Next question from John Warner with the Waco Tribune-Herald. John, you're still muted.
Dave, y'all put a lot of pressure on Rattler in the first half. Did they make some adjustments in the second half?
They started getting the ball out a little bit quicker. And so there's a lot more throws to the back. And then if we brought the nickel, or the star, which we're doing quite a bit, they would throw the screen. And, if they had two receivers out and we were to bring the inside guy, the star like this, they just threw the bubble to this guy. Whereas before, I think they were trying to get the shots and the deeper routes. And so we were still able to get some pressure. Even when routes when balls were being completed, I thought we had, a hit or two hits on the guy. And so we were getting back there, but he was getting coached up to anticipate and get the ball out.
Okay, thank you.
Next question from Andrew Miner with Bears Illustrated.
Hey, Coach. I was just curious. John Mayers missed a couple field goals in the first half there. From your perspective, were either of those tipped, or did Wynn get them? How did those come up short from your perspective?
Yeah, I think that first one, he short-stepped it and really tried to push it. And, we talked about that on the sideline. For the second one, I don't think he did short-step the second one. And so it was after that we decided, we get into the 30, 35-yard range. We were going to just have it be 4-down territory. We ended up, I think, being 6 of 8 in those situations. But if we got the ball down to about the 20, we were going to go ahead and kick. But outside of that, we were going to try to keep the offense.
Yeah, typically he has fairly good range and is consistent. Was that just a matter of him, just not having a good night tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of confidence in John, and I appreciate everything he's done for us. And I think my talks with him on the sideline were to keep your chin up and keep fighting. And I was hopeful that we would work back around to where he have another opportunity to kick one through the uprights.
Yeah, and then I was just curious your message to the team heading into the final game against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, keep fighting, stay together. I think there's a lot of guys that played through a lot tonight, and there's a lot of guys that had an opportunity to not give max effort tonight, and they chose to give max effort. And so I'm proud of those guys. I'm proud of the fight that we showed. We have to execute better on particular sides of the ball. We can be better, and we need to be better. And so that was the challenge.
Thank you.
All right, that's all the questions we have for Coach Aranda. Coach, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.